Tonight's review brought to you by a great big bunch of CGR Undertow. Support the DVD on Kickstarter to see our best videos with commentary, skits, interviews, and more behind-the-scenes crap. Folks, don't wait. Support the DVD today. It's funny how one letter can change everything. You know, Skeleton Krew sounds like a Slayer song. Spell it like this, and it sounds like a bad hip-hop group. One letter, totally different meaning. Fortunately, this is not a bad hip-hop group. This is a SEGA Genesis game. And not only that, it's one of the most SEGA Genesis games I've ever played. I mean, look at this! This is so Genesis. It's Skeleton Krew for the... well, you know. Now, I always talk about how the console wars don't mean as much anymore because the consoles aren't as different as they used to be. And the Super Nintendo versus the SEGA Genesis is really the ultimate example of that. And if you want evidence, well, open your goddamn eyes. You want to see what was so SEGA Genesis about the SEGA Genesis? Skeleton Krew. A game about 3 biomechanical skeleton warriors with guns that liquefy their gigantic, monstrous enemy monsters, and who refuse to use the letter C unless they're using it in the wrong place, which they do on purpose. This is so Genesis, it's blasting my processors. So obviously, you just didn't get this kind of stuff on the Super Nintendo, and vice versa, you know? And as someone who grew up with the Super Nintendo, I mean, to me, this is just the absolute embodiment of everything that was rubbed in my face as a kid. It's more extreme, it's more violent, it's more badass. That's Skeleton Krew. But, to play Zelda's advocate here, these bones are a bit hollow. I mean, beneath that ultra-cool PG-13 we do what they don't facade, gameplay here isn't that great. I mean, it doesn't have the same control polish and design expertise and, frankly, accessibility that in many ways came to define the Super Nintendo. If you were a Genesis kid, you're probably screaming at me right now. But that's my point. You know, we had actual things to argue about back then. Like, what's the argument today? Oh, I can watch football on my system and control it with my voice. You can just watch football. Anyway, that's always what strikes me about playing Genesis games. How different they are from the ones I grew up with. And how my taste in games, and what I think is important in games, has evolved in a totally different way than someone who grew up with these games. I just think that's super interesting. And frankly, there's not much else interesting about this game. Skeleton Krew is an isometric shooter, more noteworthy for its vibe and attitude than its gameplay. Actually, it's kind of like the Alien Breed games, only with more skeletons, and a disregard for spelling. So there's not much of a story, except for, oh, it was 1995 and Mortal Kombat, so when possible, use a K for a C. That's the story. Also something about a skeleton crew flying through space, hunting a criminal. So like robot skeletons in space. I mean, if you had to describe the SEGA Genesis in one sentence, I'm not sure you could do better than that. So you travel around, you kill monsters, and when you have to aim at a different monster, you let go of the fire button and then turn around and then press the fire button again. So, actually that part takes some getting used to. Now, you can turn while shooting, but obviously without a second control pad, it's a bit more uncomfortable than would be ideal. But that one little quirk aside, the game plays well, and it's actually a lot of fun. I mean, mindlessly shooting monsters in space, like that's gaming in its simplest and purest form. And I wish more games would get back to that, actually. But on the other hand, it could use a little depth. You know, you never get any new weapons or interesting power-ups. It's always the same 2 guns. And they're kind of lame, too. Like, one's like a pea shooter, and the other one's just... Actually, I'm not even sure it's a weapon. I feel like I'm just accidentally dropping my grenades. But of course, the gameplay isn't even the main attraction here. You know, by far, the coolest thing about Skeleton Krew is the presentation. This is a really cool-looking game. And as impressive as it is from a technical perspective, the art is even better. You know, it's got that vaguely H.R. Geiger look that so many games were going for at the time. But it does it well, and the sprites are outstanding. And actually, the music's really good, too. The game's sound really enhances the vibe and the presentation. I mean, you could say this is a game that was more about style than substance, but when the style is this cool and the substance is still okay, that's not as big of a deal. I mean, not to say this is some Genesis classic or something. It's far from it. It's short, it's repetitive, it's shallow. God damn, is it cool. And for a certain audience in 1995, that was more than enough to rub it in my face. Just like Ben from Buffalo, New York did by sending it to the show. Thanks, Ben. Hey, you should make a little cartoon about it on your SEGA Genesis. You should draw it with your mouse. Oh wait, you can't. Skeleton Krew for the SEGA Genesis.